Yeah. So hello everyone. This is just my friend Francis and I. We're chatting because we've got this workshop coming up, and we thought we'd talk about some fun things like Tantra, the difference between deserving and worthiness, how that relates to health and then stress around the holidays. We're just going to kind of chit chat for a while, and I know it's going to be of value. And then when beliefs come up to clear, I'm going to clear them. The clearing's already started. I've already started yawning, so the energy's already moving. So Francis, we've just been chit chatting for a while, but you were just saying about the difference between worthiness and deserving. So download, educate me. What's the difference?
Yeah, just in the Layla Martin training, she talks about how worthiness is about our self-worth, about what we believe we deserve for ourselves, whereas deservingness is more about what we deserve to receive from outside of us. And actually, they can be quite different. So we might feel worthy of something but not deserving of it sometimes, or the other way around. I'm not exactly sure how it all works, but yeah, there's ways of working with that as well.
Oh, cool. So worthiness is about like my sense of self-worth. You know, if I treat myself well, if I speak to myself well, if I take that time in the morning for yoga and meditation, if I eat well, but then deservingness. But then where's the crossover? Because if deservingness is about things I'm able to receive. So let's say I'm not willing to receive the money to pay for the self-care. Is that a worthiness thing or is that a deserving thing?
Well, I think they can both be in there for sure, but yeah, deservingness. I think they're both very related, obviously, but that deservingness is more time in terms of what we believe maybe we deserve in terms of like how much love we deserve from somebody else, or or how much we deserve money to receive money, or whatever it is. Yeah.
I see the other place that this could kind of really connect is between having earned it or not. So like deservingness, that if you've earned it, if you've done enough, because I know for me personally, just to be brutally honest, both of my worthiness and deserving used to suck, like just bottom of the barrel, terrible on both accounts. And I would say now my worthiness is super high. Like I take that yoga and meditation time every morning. I treat myself with love. I mean, I call it the inner critic. That's one of my 8 pillars of my work is the inner critic. And that if your inner critic's kicking your ass, it's like trying to plant a tree in acidic soil. It can't grow. The soil's just not gonna support life. So the inner critic is like that. So I'd say on inner critic ways, I'm like a 9, which if you knew me 5 years ago, you would think was an impossibility. But really, it's a 9. It's like really high. But deservingness, I still, to this day, I still have a whole bunch about, well, I haven't done enough for that, or maybe I haven't worked hard enough for it, or I haven't been of service to enough people yet. That still comes up in a big way. So that's really interesting. So let's see if there's a clearing that we want to do. How about all the way, ow. Yeah. So for everyone watching, all the ways that we have confused worthiness and deservingness. All the ways we've allowed our ego to confuse worthiness and deservingness so that we never identify either one and never actually get to the root of the issue. And we're constantly stuck in not enoughness. Ow. Would you be willing to destroy that at the point of creation? Whew. That's actually really good. Okay, cool. What else you got? That's awesome.
That's great. Worthiness, deservingness, and also we were going to talk about Tantra a bit. I can't remember what we were going to talk about Tantra in relationship to, I suppose, pleasure, love, was it? And
pleasure and love, but also, we're not going to share any personal details, but there was a funny little anecdote that Francis was sharing beforehand, and I'll rephrase it this way for everyone that's watching. So if you eat crappy food and then you don't take time for yourself every day, and then you jump into the holidays, or if you're American, you already jumped into your Thanksgiving with a baseline of like just not self-nourishment. Do we think it's inevitable that you're going to snap at somebody? Probably. If you go outside in a rainstorm without a jacket and an umbrella, will you get wet? All signs point to probably. So we were talking about that in relation to Tantra. But just check for yourself, for everyone watching, for this holiday season and for your life. Are you pouring, crappy gasoline in your tank, but then expecting your body and your being to just run perfectly well at times of extra stress, like the holidays, especially this year, the holidays. So for everyone watching, check in with yourself. Are you doing that? And if you are, one, you could come to our workshop. Two, just pick that next thing that you're going to do that's going to start to fill your gas tank a little bit more. But yeah, let's talk about Tantra in terms of pleasure and the will. I guess that'd be more worthiness. If you feel worthy of pleasure, worthy of love, then Tantra is a great way to work with that kind of energy.
And also, I guess, deserving of a connection. I mean, I guess you can work with Tantra on your own anyway, in terms of moving energy, but also in terms of the connection. If you're doing it with someone else, then there's also the deserving of that level of connection, heart, sort of soul connection. Yeah, those practices can unleash. But going back to what you were saying, it just made me about sort of filling ourselves up. It just made me think of today and how, like, this morning I spent the morning a bit sort of huddled over my computer and not really feeling that great, and then eventually let myself go out for a walk, and it completely transformed the rest of my day. And it's like, why didn't I do that earlier? Or why did I feel like I had to, like, I don't know. So it's definitely a work in progress.
And when we think it's just one thing, I talk about this all the time, where we think like, and there's a great book that I have called Atomic Habits, and I love it. It actually helped me to start my yoga practice over a year ago using the principles in that book. And I'm clear that it wouldn't have been so effective if I hadn't done the belief clearing and the energy shifting work to be able to get there. Because I've tried, habit hacking many times in my life, never really worked. But as I got deeper into energy work and clearing the beliefs, then the habit hacking would stick, and then the new habits would stick. So at the moment, I'm cutting out chocolate. Before, that would have been impossible. But now it's going, and it's going pretty well because I've done that kind of base work. So I'm curious, like, where would that fit in with Tantra? Like, because I know with Tantra, it's got both. It's the experience of pleasure, but it's also clearing blocks. It's in a very different way than I would do it, or you might do it. But how does that all happen with Tantra? The willingness to receive, but also the ability to clear stuff that comes up.
To work with your energy body and to clear whatever's blocking your flow of energy and that sort of thing as well. And
And breath work too, I would imagine, would be similar in that way.
Breath work absolutely is a powerful way of clearing through the nervous system and through the energy system, anything that's blocking a free flow of energy and breath and life. And absolutely. And that we'll be doing some of that on the workshops and breath work. I can introduce some light Tantra practice as well, actually.
That would be fun. Yeah, we could explore that. That could be the bonus. It could be the bonus after the regular workshop. And we'll do lots of yawning too, because that helps. I find I feel so much better. There's the double bonus of when I do belief clearing, because the belief clearing feels great, but then the yawning is scientifically shown to be great for your brain. Just yawning, even forced yawns are really great. So,
I do lots of yawning. I often recommend clients to yawn regularly as well. And, absolutely.
Nice. And so what do you think is the connection between, and this might be so obvious that it doesn't bear a deeper look. And sometimes, for those of us that have been around this game for a long time, or, you've heard the term self-care more times than you care to repeat in your life, we don't want to get too basic, but we also want to make sure we don't leave anyone behind. So what do you see as the connection between loving yourself and loving others?
Well, the more deeply you can love, I guess, and accept yourself and really give yourself what you need, the more you fill yourself up. I mean, it's the whole idea of put your own oxygen mask on first, isn't it, before helping someone else? So the more you fill yourself up, the more you've actually got to give to others. You've got more of a full tank and open heart to actually give to others if you're really giving yourself what you need first. So that's kind of what I see as the connection. How about you?
I'm not sure. Like, that's one of those ones that I've seen a lot of controversy about this in recent years, of the phrases like you can't love others until you love yourself. And then I've seen a lot of backlash to that philosophy. So I think of it more like, kind of going back to the gas tank analogy, I think of it more like that there's no sense that you can love others if you don't love yourself. But the way I think of it is, you will often repeat patterns that are not dealt with. So let's say you're loving other people really, really well, and you're being great with them, but you don't love yourself. And you're not loving yourself is actually because of a belief that you don't deserve love, For example, this is all, conjecture, but let's say you've got a belief that you don't deserve to be loved. And then you're around other people that have a deep knowing that they deserve to be loved, and they take lots of time for self-care, and they don't overextend themselves. And meanwhile, you're sacrificing yourself, whatever, doing extra dish duty, or taking care of the kids longer, or, doing extra landscaping around the holidays to try to get everything to look good for when the family comes over. And then you're stewing and brewing, which I've never done. I've never stewed or brewed, but then, then you're stewing or brewing, but it's really because you believe that you don't deserve love.
Yeah.
So, but I would say that's more about the belief rather than you have to love yourself before you can love others. Because I think we can love others before we love ourselves, but it's like a symptom. It's a symptom of a belief. And so it's very helpful that way. We don't want to ignore the symptom, but we also don't want to just like do the pat, I'm worthy. What's that smiley, the old cartoon, like I'm loving and worthy and good and everything's wonderful, but it's really not. So I prefer to get into what's really going on.
Yeah, and to clear those beliefs, the underlying beliefs of not being worthy of love and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I find when I do that whatever habit I want to start, it happens so much more easily because I'm not trying to like take off the blankets of shame or guilt or resistance, the metaphorical blankets of shame and guilt, that I can just, it's a lot easier to start or stop the things that I have to do.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. Anything else we can tease people with, or that you want to tease people with for the workshop coming up?
So in terms of the workshop coming up, we'll be doing some basic energy medicine techniques, which are really, really powerful and simple, and you can do on a daily basis, and also some emotional freedom technique, which is great for clearing and getting relief from emotions and energy blocks and anything that's stopping you from giving yourself the self-love and nurturing and nourishment you deserve, and especially at this time of year as well, when it's actually so beneficial to slow down. And it's going to be great to do this with Will. He'll come in with your energy practices and to work on.
Well, it's just on the. We'll see if there's one more belief here to clear. But when you said the word nourishment, there was a big energy surge.
Yeah.
So, is that about the current global situation, or is that about the holidays, or is that about? Oh yeah, all the ways you are. Ooh, let's go all the way down the rabbit hole. Excuse me. Oh, burping now too. Ooh, this should be a good one. All the ways you are refusing self-nourishment or nourishment from others because it might leave you open and vulnerable to judgment or attack from others as well. Ow, ow, ow. Would you be willing to destroy that at the point of creation? Call those walls or boundaries or barriers. I remember doing that when I was in my early 20s, and I was dating a girl, and everything was amazing. And then I remember one night crying as we were going to sleep at night, and she said, "Why are you crying?" I said, "Because I just know, at the very dramatic 20s, I just know I'll always be alone." And she said, "I'm holding you right now." And I said, "No, but I just know I'll always be alone." And it was a boundary, it was a barrier, it was a way for me to stay safe, to hold on to something, that there was something that I could know for certain, some level of certainty I could have about myself and about my life. And so I think we do that when it comes to nourishment. We're so afraid to let others love us, or to give to us, or to treat us well, or to, we're so used to the boundaries and the barriers that we end up doing everything ourselves. Because it's easier to just do the dishes, clean the whole house, than it is to maybe ask for help and have that person shut you down, or to ask for what you really want for Christmas and then have the person say, "Well, that's ridiculous. We don't spend that much money, but you really wanted that sweater or shoes or whatever. I don't care what it is." And you get shut down in the way of like, we don't spend that much money. And so oftentimes we don't ask, so we don't nourish ourselves. And then we get mad at ourselves and we say, "Oh, I shouldn't be so superficial." It's not about the shoes. It's not about the sweater. It's about the love that can be expressed through those things. And so I think that's why the word nourishment really